All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're cracking the code on one of the biggest mysteries in real estate. What is a home really worth? We're going to pull back the curtain on the appraisal process and uncover the hidden forces that shape a property's true value. Okay, so picture this. You see a sold sign pop up on a house down the street. You hear it went for a cool $750,000. So that's what it's worth, right? Simple question. Well, the answer is way more complicated than you might think. Yeah, the answer is not necessarily. See, what a property sells for and what a property is actually worth can be two totally different things. And getting your head around that difference is the key to understanding, well, pretty much the entire real estate market. And here it is, side by side. On one hand, you've got the market price. That's a fact. It's history. It's the exact amount of money that changed hands. But on the other side, you have market value, and that's an idea. It's the price that a property should sell for if everything were perfect. If the buyer and seller were both knowledgeable, not under pressure, and had all the time in the world. So if the price isn't the real value, how in the world do we find it? Well, that, my friends, is what an appraisal is for. An appraisal is a professional, unbiased opinion of what a property's market value is on one specific day. It's not a guarantee, it's a carefully researched conclusion. Okay, so let's dig in. To get how an appraiser comes up with that opinion, you first have to understand what gives any property value to begin with. It's not just about the four walls and a roof. It's about a combination of four crucial elements. And those four elements have a handy acronym, DUST. For a property to have any real value, you need demand, utility, scarcity, and transferability. I mean, think about it. If nobody wants it, or you can't actually use it for anything, or there are a million just like it, what's it worth? And if you can't legally sell it, it's worthless in the market. You need all four. So now that we know what creates value, how does an appraiser actually go about measuring it? Well, they don't just pick a number out of a hat. They use a really methodical process, looking at the property through three completely different perspectives. Think of these like three different lenses. First, the cost approach asks, what would it cost to build this exact property again from scratch, right now? Then there's the market approach. This is the big one for residential homes. It asks, what have similar houses nearby sold for recently? And finally, for investment properties, there's the income approach, which asks, how much cash could this property generate? By combining these three views, they get a really solid, well-rounded opinion. Okay, but where do they get all the information for these approaches? This is where an appraiser becomes a bit of a detective. They gather clues, starting with a really wide view and then zooming in piece by piece until they're focused on the property itself. They start with what's called general data. This is the big picture. They're looking at the health of the whole region, what's happening in the city, and the vibe of the specific neighborhood. Is this an up-and-coming area? Are the schools good? This sets the whole context. Then, once they've got the lay of the land, they zoom right in on the specific data. This is everything about the property itself, its exact location, the size and shape of the lot, and of course, the house, or, in appraisal speak, the improvements on the land. Every single detail matters. All right, but here's where it gets really fascinating. Collecting data is just one part of the job. The real secret sauce is how appraisers use that data. They filter it all through a set of core economic principles. These are the invisible rules that really dictate how value works in the real world. And the most fundamental rule of all is the principle of substitution. It sounds complex, but it's pure common sense. It just says that a reasonable person is not going to pay more for one thing when they can get a nearly identical substitute for less. This one idea is the engine that drives the entire market. So, this leads us to a classic homeowner question that perfectly illustrates another one of these rules. Let's say you spend 50 grand putting in a gorgeous swimming pool. Does that automatically make your house worth $50,000 more? The answer is almost never. And this is because of the principle of contribution. An upgrade is only worth what the market says it's worth. That $50,000 pool might only add $10,000 in value in a cold climate, or it might add $60,000 in a luxury neighborhood where everyone expects one. Its value isn't its cost, it's what it contributes to the whole package. Next up is the principle of conformity. This one is all about fitting in. The idea is that a home holds its value best when it's pretty similar to the other houses around it. A neighborhood full of well-capped, similar homes creates a stable, predictable value for everyone. Outliers can mess that up. And this is exactly how being an outlier can hurt you. If you build a massive, incredible mansion in a neighborhood of modest little houses, your property's value is actually going to get dragged down by everything around it. That's the principle of regression. You've over-improved for the area. But guess what? It works the other way too. If you have the smallest, most humble house on a street full of beautiful, expensive homes, its value will get pulled up by its fancy neighbors. That's the principle of progression, and it's why you always hear that advice to buy the worst house on the best block. So here's the bottom line. An appraisal isn't just a guess, and it's not just a simple calculation. It's a process. It's about taking all the data, from the big picture trends to the smallest details of the house, and filtering it through these powerful principles to solve for value. And that leaves us with a final thought. The next time you're driving or walking around your own neighborhood, I want you to look at it with new eyes. Can you spot these principles at play? Can you see regression or progression in action? Because once you understand these hidden rules, you don't just understand an appraisal report, you see the real story of value that's being told all around you.